Well, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, and of course, thank you for so much for tuning in. We have a great show for you on tap today. We have a little bit of WWE Smackdown review as well as Monday Night Raw preview. We also have a little look at a recent interview that JBL had with former WCW, TNA, and AEW wrestler Sting as kind of like information on why exactly he wasn't involved in once when the WWE kind of absorbed WCW and ECW. So we have a little bit of insight on that. I thought it was very interesting the way what Sting really had to say about Vince McMahon and like the WWF, which was growing up, that's what we watched. We watched the Monday Night Wars, and I don't know, it kind of was crazy the way everything unfolded. But and last, we're going to cap it off with the WWE Hall of Fame, the class of 2024, and if Bray Wyatt should find himself inside the talk of being inducted into the Hall of Fame. But first and foremost, we get a number of questions from our viewers that come in during the show. So to ensure that your question gets read on air, I ask you to use the tips and donations link at the gsmcpodcast.net with your questions. Just put your question up on top so that I can see it, so we can have a nice little back and forth conversation. And it also really helps the show. A nice little positive feedback or review, peace, love, and positivity. Again, the link is gsmcpodcast.net. So, all right, without further ado, we have our first segment. WWE Smackdown was pretty big. It was pretty crazy, especially the ending part of it. And it was, really, really exciting, especially if you're a wrestling fan. But we'll save the best for last. But then the whole show was really good. So it's like, then we're going to save the whole show for last. But no. Anyways, so SmackDown kicks off with Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar going at it. It's kind of like the teacher versus the student kind of thing, because Escobar, he told Rey Mysterio that he was like his biggest fan. How he would kind of mimic the way he was, kind of portrayed inside of the ring. And I can imagine that this match really meant a lot to Santos Escobar. And I'm not just saying like on film. I'm saying like behind the curtain, behind the scenes, where he he faced his hero in a match, and they tore it up, and it was pretty good until the end of the match, where Rey Mysterio's son, Dirty Dom, Dirty Dom had to, he had to come in, and he had to, interfere in the match, ultimately costing his father, a chance to beat Santos Escobar. But I don't know, how does that impact WrestleMania? I don't know if they're gonna have a Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio like part two. I don't know how much. I don't know if that would be that crazy, entertaining, because especially during the first bout where Ray got the best of his son, and I know, you know, it's kind of like what I was saying with the Jimmy and Jey Uso, where family members are together, like kind of Owen Hart and Bret Hart when they fought at WrestleMania. It's kind of like, I don't know, like a kind of like a dream match you have with your family. Like, you know what I mean? Like at first, from the outside perspective, from the wrestling fandom perspective, you're thinking like, oh no, what are they doing? Like, why are they fighting their family? Like, what the heck is going on? But in reality, behind the scenes, they're like, honestly, this is probably the best match that we're ever gonna have. Like, we know each other like the back of our hand. You're my dad. I'm your son. We both know our tendencies. I've honestly learned a lot watching you. I don't know, this is kind of something that like these wrestlers kind of live and die for, and I think it's kind of crazy how they kind of play to the emotions of the WWE universe to kind of make it like it's that storyline, that storytelling that is so important when it comes to professional wrestling. So I don't know. I don't know how what if they're gonna have a part two match, but right now, Dirty Dom and the Judgment Day. It's the Judgment Day. There's so many. Oh man, I think I talked about this before in the last podcast that I don't see how far they're going to go, to be honest. I don't know what Damian Priest has with his Money in the Bank. I don't know if he has to use the Money in the Bank before the next Money in the Bank you know, pay-per-view, but I don't know. Like I see Rhea Ripley kind of going off on her own little branch as the women's world champion, and like I said, I don't really like seeing Finn Balor and Damian Priest like as tag teams because they're both pretty good singles competitors. Especially who knows what's gonna happen after WrestleMania. There's gonna be so many different storylines that are just like blown into the air in terms of professional wrestling, and how many superstars are going to like maybe have a chance to kind of step up to that next level. And I don't know, that unpredictability is kind of what keeps wrestling fans hooked. You know what I mean? So it's I think they're doing a pretty good job. So next, there was a backstage promo between Bailey and Naomi. Naomi ultimately helped Bailey when she was getting, her butt beat by her former fad, Damage Control, Dakota Kai, the Kabuki Warriors, and Io Sky. But it ultimately ended kind of badly because Bianca Belair really had an axe to grind against Bailey because Bailey and the Damage Control would always like consistently and always every show just kind of find a way to screw over Bianca Belair. And Bianca Belair was a little upset because she is friends with Naomi, and ultimately she wants to protect her friend. Like she gets that Bailey's all, she's kind of in this apologetic like mood where she's having a lot of kind of like a lot of doubts and just kind of a like mostly just remorse for what she's done in the past and how all of this what she created kind of came up and kind of bit her in the rear end here. You kind of created something that you're going to hate in the future. You created your own enemy, and along the way you burned bridges. You burned a lot of bridges with other women superstars that could ultimately be on your side. But I feel how Bianca Belair is a little frustrated with this whole situation. But it should be interesting to see what happens. Especially with the match between Bailey and Io Sky. I feel like there's probably going to be a part in the match where everyone's gonna come out and kind of beat each other. What I really would like is to kind of see Jade Cargill kind of unite with Bianca Belair or Naomi, and then they challenge the Kabuki Warriors and Dakota Kai to like a kind of like a six woman like tag team match. I was thinking maybe Naomi and Belair could compete for the women's titles, tag team titles, but I think that's a little too soon. You didn't really have a like a build up, or perhaps maybe something will happen on Monday Night Raw where it will totally just should shift focus and just I don't know, kind of set something up for the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania 40. But I don't know, it should be interesting to see how that all kind of unfolds. At the end of the match, Naomi was missed by Asuka. And then after that, Jade Cargill had her first appearance in SmackDown ever since he signed and showed up in a Royal Rumble where I believe she eliminated Nia Jax. But anyways, so Tiffany Stratton was also part of the whole, kind of like the backstage drama amongst the women's division in SmackDown. She basically told Naomi that that's a really good look for her, and like Bianca looks super, super upset. So now Tiffany Stratton's kind of turning, she's throwing her hat in the ring of next people to either fight Naomi or Bianca. But I don't know. She's been doing pretty good as soon as she came up to the WWE roster. She's definitely been one of the more improved wrestlers. Definitely, she's made the most impact, and she's also up for the Slammy Award for I think best breakout WWE superstar. So honestly, I think I don't know. They have big things ready for Tiffany Stratton, and honestly, I think she's ready to she's ready to collect, so to speak. Also moving on. So you had Kevin Owens in a promo, and he challenged Pretty Deadly. And I'm only bringing this up because it was super freaking funny how like he was bragging about punching two people at the same time, and then he challenged Pretty Deadly, and he's like, "A partner of my choosing," and they're like, "Oh, whatever," And then Randy Orton, the Viper, comes out of nowhere, and he's like, "Yeah, me and you versus these two. Yeah, let's do it." And then after that, they were like nothing but like Pretty Deadly seemed like they were dead. Seemed like they were dead in the water. Seems like they already accepted defeat before defeat actually even happened. But and then at the end of the promo, Kevin Owens comes up and he punches both of them and knocks them down. All you hear in the background is like, "See, Randy, I told you I can do it. I told you." And it was just, oh my God. It was, I don't know why, but that was really funny to me. Like, I don't know how you guys felt about it, but it was extremely hilarious. Like Kevin Owens, honestly, Kevin Owens throughout like his tenure in WWE, you kind of listen to his mic skills and kind of his promos. He's a very funny. Some of the stuff that like he says is just like man, like this guy could probably be a comedian if he wasn't like a wrestler. Like he knows kind of how to, kind of play about the aspect of the match or the perspective that's going down during Raw, SmackDown, or wherever. And he just finds a way to kind of twist it, kind of tweaks it a little bit, and it just comes out really like comical and it's pretty funny. It's funny as hell. So they have a match next week on SmackDown, so that should be interesting to see Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. As it kind of comes closer to that triple threat match. Can you trust me? Can I trust you? Going into that fight with Logan Paul. Um, but anyways, there was also another promo. It seemed like this night was full of like a lot of promos, just setting up for Mania. And I don't know we're running out of time here for the segment, but LA Knight attacks AJ Styles at his house and ultimately gets arrested. Classic W. They use that thing that I was talking about like that cinematography where you felt like it was like in a movie or you felt like it was on a TV show, but in reality, of course, it was just wrestling. It was on Monday Night Raw, but and kind of just the way it was and the way they kind of built it up made it seem like I don't know, like I don't know if their match at WrestleMania is gonna be like this, where it's gonna be kind of cinema, but it's gonna be shape up for one of the best matches probably in WrestleMania history. And I'm not just saying that because I like the LA Knight or AJ Styles, but I know AJ Styles the way he is toward the company and the way that he comes out every night. Um, they kind of compared him like Shawn Michael esque, and AJ Styles is a phenomenal wrestler. Absolutely. Like he's always in talks of the WWE Championship. I don't think he's ever really won the Universal Championship. But whenever you see him in a Royal Rumble, you look at him as opposed to like anybody else and you're like, man, like this guy has a shot. Like he can win the Royal Rumble. And I don't know. I would like to kind of see AJ Styles win the Royal Rumble before he leaves, but like I mentioned before, I don't know how long that's gonna last. His contract that, being that. And AJ Styles has been, kind of notoriously known for like not jumping brands, but like he was in TNA, New Japan, Ring of Honor, WWE, and I don't know, it just seems it doesn't seem foreign to him to like, just kind of take a step back, assess the situation and be like, look, maybe it's best if I don't stay in WWE. Like he's been in WWE, he's accomplished a bunch of accolades and he's doing really well. But I don't know. Maybe there's always that part of him that's like, his home in New Japan Wrestling where he made it pretty big, as well as TNA. Although I don't think he'd ever go back to TNA. Okay, moving on. So you had the Street Profits defeating AOP, and I actually want to apologize because I misspoke. These matches weren't really to see who moves on to the ladder match, the six-pack challenge for the tag team titles against Damian Priest and Finn Balor. It was to like find out who's gonna fight each other next SmackDown. So now we have AOP against Legado del Fantasma. Um, Honestly, I don't know who's gonna win this match. No, they're fighting. Oh, sorry. Once again, once again, I misspoke. They're fighting Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, which kind of makes for a better match. Who would you rather see facing the ladder match? Street Profits or Austin Theory and Grayson Waller? I kind of have my money on the Street Profits, but I just know that probably sometime during the match, during SmackDown this Friday, I think AOP is going to come out and just ruin the Street Profits' chance at make it to the WrestleMania, and you're going to see Theory and Waller make it. Which, it's not bad, but just the way that they kind of do it and the way how the Street Profits are kind of due for another WWE Tag Team title run. Because I miss them as, WWE Tag Team title holders. They were really entertaining and they knew how to, like, kind of pander to the crowd and, like, get people involved. And the Red Solo Cups coming down. Like, it was, I don't know. I think they're really good superstars. But it should be interesting. So the final bout. the final thing that happened on SmackDown was absolutely crazy between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, where basically it was just kind of just based on trust. Roman Reigns asked Cody if he could trust Seth Rollins, and Cody Rhodes, in retaliation, asked Roman if he could really trust The Rock. And there was a couple words said, but they just pandered to the storyline so much, and it just hooked you in as a WWE fan. And I don't know, it was super crazy. He Roman Reigns told Cody Rhodes that he's the greatest number two of all time, and then then Roman Reigns says, "I'm number one forever," and it was just like, oh my God, like that's crazy. Like, no, obviously champions are, they're confident, but I don't think anybody, absolutely any WWE heavyweight title holder from Hulk Hogan, Bruno Sammartino, Bob Backlund, Ric Flair, I don't think anyone has ever been as cocky or as confident as Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns has been a complete dominant force during his whole tenure in WWE. Like no one can compare to Roman. As much as everybody hates it, Roman Reigns is the one. He is the one. He's nobody can no. Oh God, from family, from like his in ring like ability, he's a lot better on the mic than he was per se like 3 or 4 years ago. But Roman Reigns is just kind of above everything right now. Like, I would say he's probably even above like Brock Lesnar, or he's above Triple H and Stone Cold Steve Austin during the Attitude Era, or dare I say it, over completely way better than Hulk Hogan during the '80s. Like, it's insane. It's insane how good this guy is. And I don't know, Cody has a huge, a task ahead of him. But kind of copying off here. So it ended with Roman Reigns snapping his fingers, and then came Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso, and then looked like dire straits to Cody, and Cody looked scared, but then he had this big smirk on his face, and Roman was like, "Man, why is this fool smiling right now?" And then all of a sudden, in comes Seth freaking Rollins, in comes Jey Uso, and you had that 3-on-3, like, you know, I never trusted you, so I brought my guys, and vice versa. And I gotta be honest, I had goosebumps at the end of that. I really did, and it was an absolute treat, and it was pretty cool the way they did it. So I don't know, kind of kudos to them. All right, moving on. So don't go anywhere. We have our next segment. We're going to be talking about Monday Night Raw, Monday Night Preview, what's happening in Chicago, Illinois at the All-State Arena. So, hey, don't go anywhere.